On today's show, I'm going to be telling you how the LA Clippers, or one of the LA Clippers' biggest flaws, was exposed in that fourth quarter against the Lakers, and talking about the game in general on today's Locked On Clippers.
You are Locked On Clippers, your daily Los Angeles Clippers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, sir. You are locking in with the Clips. Thank you for making Locked On Clippers the first listen of your day, your team every day. I'm your host, Darian Vaziri, born and raised in LA, been a Clipper fan for 21 years, been covering the team on my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, for 6, and 4 right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell on YouTube to get us up to 8,000 subscribers before the end of 2025. And of course, you can listen wherever you get your podcasts. This episode is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is the best place to get great deals last minute on tickets. Just take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Clipper Nation. We just finished our 7-game road trip. Going to be talking about it. Going to be talking about Kawhi's performance in this loss to the Lakers and what I think cost us the game in the fourth quarter after hanging in there for the first 3. After 6 games on the road, we return home, but not quite. We play the 7th game of our road trip, the 7th and final game of our road trip against our crosstown foes, the Lakers, in Crypto.com Arena, the former home of ours. And it was an interesting game, a very poorly officiated game on both sides. It's pretty funny how two fan bases watching the same game can come out with completely different opinions on how the game was officiated. On our side, I thought it was completely against us. Then I saw some Laker fans' tweets, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that call because I'm watching it from such a Clipper lens. So I'm just going to say the refs were bad on both ends. But I just think Luka, Austin Reaves, and Harden get a great whistle. And LeBron, honestly, hasn't gotten a great whistle as a Laker, but he was just yelling and getting calls after the fact tonight. But Zoo and Kawhi just don't have a good whistle. LeBron, as a Laker, has not gotten a great whistle, but tonight he got a good one. And then Kawhi and, what's his name? Zoo, yeah, don't get a good whistle. But I don't even want to talk about that. We lost this game because we were the inferior team. We haven't rebounded well all year. Let's talk about that. We're down by 5 heading into the fourth. We hang in there all game offensively, even though Luka had 32 points at halftime and 24 points in the first quarter. We still hung in there. James Harden, Kris Dunn, and John Collins played really well and were knocking down shots. Even Nico Batum was hitting some threes. Kawhi and Zoo were but we felt maybe they could, turn up the gas at any point. And we go into the fourth quarter down by 5. James Harden is getting his normal rest. And mind you, at this point, after the first quarter, we were up by 1. The second quarter, the Lakers outscored us by 4. And in the third quarter, they outscored us by 2. So every single quarter was within 4 points. It was a pretty neck-and-neck game. But the fourth quarter is where the Lakers pulled away, and I just think there were a couple of huge rebound opportunities that were missed by us. Just the same thing that's been a theme all season long, and an under-talked about one. Last year, we were number 1 in defensive rebounding percentage. This year, I believe we're 25th. I think it's either 23rd or 25th. We don't box out. And I've been saying that Zoo's the only guy on this team that rebounds, but in this game, even he wasn't boxing out. These guys are just going to the basket as if every single miss is going to be a miss around the basket. With the amount of long jumpers that are taken in the game today, you just got to hit your man's body, not just crash. Because if it's a long rebound, that's an off, they get the ball back probably wide open. The lack of boxing out from our entire team is completely unserious. It's been unserious all season, and it got exposed in that fourth quarter. That Harden one where Luka was right there was atrocious. He even mentioned it after the game, lack of rebounding. The amount of times he just stood around and didn't react, ridiculous. So I think that's what made the difference. And we couldn't guard Austin Reaves. But like Kawhi Leonard's on a minutes restriction. James Harden is James Harden. But Austin Reaves and Luka, in my opinion, were the two best players on the floor. And LeBron had 25 points as well. So between the three of them, you had 25 plus points from each of them. And without Derrick Jones Jr., you're going to struggle to guard all these guys. We literally had James Harden guarding Luka to start the game. Because we had no better options. Because the alternative would be, okay, you have James Harden guarding Rui Hachimura. And I guess John Collins guarding Luka. But then Kawhi would have to guard. Well, Kawhi was guarding LeBron, and that was fine for him. But yeah, I don't know. I think Harden has shown to be a decent Luka defender in the past, and that's why they did it. Except that's a crazy assignment. It is a crazy assignment. And Luka was cooking him in the beginning. But, Luka was basically cooking everybody. He was just making contested threes. And when he's doing that, unless you're double teaming him and just getting the ball out of his hands, it's ridiculous. But the crazy part is we were still in the game, and then we decided that we did not care about rebounding in the fourth quarter. We gave up offensive rebounds throughout the game, and just to give you the number, the Lakers got 38 rebounds to our 29 in this game. And as far as the offensive rebounding department, we had 7 and they had 12. And mind you, a lot of ours were just like zoo tips, whereas they're grabbing the ball and kicking it out and getting like full-on new possessions. Not like Zoom missing a couple tip-ins and then the third one goes in that he does all the time. That's different. The way those can, really break your back in a game can't be, you can't really measure it in stats. But yeah, a lot of Reaves, a little bit of LeBron in transition, and then Luka, in that fourth quarter. They just had the better shot creators, more shot creators, The Lakers are just better than us right now. As much as it pains me to say it, they just are. So we shouldn't have expected to win. But for me, some of the defensive stuff and the rebounding stuff is completely ridiculous. Shout out to Kris Dunn for showing a little bit of pride at the end of the game. And he was done with Luka's antics and just, he put the ball in his chest and he got heated. But it is what it is. Like, that's why we love Kris Dunn. Because when push comes to shove and nobody acts like they care, he's showing a little bit of emotion, and that matters to fans like us, in my opinion. But the rebounding, I just think that's the big takeaway for me was when we're down by 5 in the fourth quarter and we're not ending possessions with boards because we're just not playing hard enough. You can talk about age all you want, but a lot of these guys are returning from last year. Like, let's call it how it is. Zubac, Kawhi Leonard when he's been healthy, James Harden. And again, I do truly feel a little bad pinning anything on Harden because the load that he's being asked to carry right now on the offensive end. When he went out of the game, we have I think the worst offensive rating in the league with Harden out of the game. Like we would have if you just took that offensive rating and measured it across the league, we'd have the worst, which checks out, especially with Kawhi being out for so long. But even with Kawhi playing tonight, he's just. You would not think he's the highest paid player on the team so far, besides a couple of games this season, like against New Orleans and against Portland. Besides that, he's just been pedestrian. He comes off some screens here and there. He gets the ball and takes some contested jumpers. It's been Harden's team, rightfully so, given his health. But before I get into the Kawhi stuff, it's just that stretch kind of killed us. But besides the lack of offense that Kawhi is not creating that we can talk about in a second, I just think the rebounding stuff and then the questionable decisions defensively, doubling with Zoo against doubling Luka with Zoo in the backcourt. I get we were trying to speed them up because there was 5 minutes left in the game. We're down 12, but that was foolish. Zoo doubling our best rim protector, doubling Luka Doncic in the backcourt, as if he's going to make any difference on. Contesting Luka's pass or something like that. And then John Collins just losing sight of his man completely on the baseline. Rui Hachimura in that fourth quarter for a layup. Without Derrick Jones Jr., we don't have great personnel defensively. And even with Derrick Jones Jr., we weren't playing good defense this year. And I did an episode on Tuesday about why why our defense is worse. There are a lot of reasons. I can talk about them in a second. But we got to remember the Lakers have 3 elite shot creators. And you might be saying, dude, Austin Reaves elite? Yes. Have you been watching him this season? I know a lot of Clipper fans can't stand watching the Lakers, but see, for me growing up, people think like I'm too nice to the Lakers. I really can't stand this Laker team, but I just love a basketball history, and what has made our sport special. And the Lakers have had some awesome players, and they're in LA teams. And I have family that are Laker fans that just beg me not to hate them. And don't hate on the Clippers like that. Like, we troll back and forth. But so for me, I don't have that same hatred for the Lakers that a lot of Clipper fans do. This current iteration of their team, I cannot stand. Cannot stand. Because I'm not the biggest on LeBron anymore. Not a fan of JJ, even when he was a Clipper at the end of his tenure. And Luka at this point, like, what do you want me to say? The battles we've had with him and the constant whining after every call. And if people want to say you have Harden on your team, you can't say that, dude. People say I'm a Harden hater and all that because of the stuff that Luka and Harden both do. So you can't even use that on me. I think it's both. It's very hard to watch them both at times. And then Reaves gets every call too. But I will say this about Austin Reaves. It already goes without saying Harden and Luka are amazing one-on-one players. But Austin Reaves, some people were saying, oh, John Collins, like, he sucks at guarding. Like, he's not the best moving his feet against guards. That's not why we got him. But he can't guard Austin Reaves one-on-one. Like, when he's getting cooked by Austin Reaves, people are saying he's not playing defense. I think the losing your sight of your man on the baseline and having, miscommunications frequently, those you can blame him for. But when he's getting cooked by Austin Reaves, a lot of people have been getting cooked by Austin Reaves this season. So I say all that to say that I watch Laker games and grew up watching Laker games because I didn't have League Pass growing up, and we had 2 games on, and I loved basketball. And we had Kobe Bryant, like, live, like, in real time, Why wouldn't I watch? So I was always watching a Clipper game one night and a Laker game another night, and we were talking about them at school the next day. That was my childhood, watching basketball. And then obviously the nationally televised games. So it was just always a thing, And it's the talk of the town. Even though I'm a Clipper fan, the Lakers, they are the Lakers. But it just, I don't know, the lack of effort and just seeing Luka in a Laker jersey, like, that is, it's ridiculous. Nico Harrison is like on Saddam Hussein and Osama bin Laden level, in my opinion, honestly, at this point. He's ridiculous. Coming up, though. So the rebounding, that's what cost us, in my opinion, in that fourth. Coming up, though, going to be talking about Kawhi Leonard and the real with him right now. I got to tell you a little something about Game Time. Basketball season is officially here, and nothing beats being in the arena for those opening games. But let's be real. Getting tickets can be a total headache. Between waiting in queues, surprise fees, and prices that jump right before checkout, it's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on your team. That's where Game Time comes in, the app that gives fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NBA tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. Their zone deals are a game changer. You pick the section, Game Time picks your seats, and you save big. You can even find NBA tickets for under $25. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's code LOCKEDON NBA for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Thank you for making Locked On Clippers your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. All right, Clipper Nation, we lose 135-118 to the Lakers to end our road trip with a record of 2-5. We dropped to 5-13 on the year, 2-8 away from home, and 2-1 in the NBA Cup. We are definitely, without a doubt, the most disappointing team in the league. You can talk about Indiana, but they've had a bunch of players out, including their best player, the whole season, and everyone knew it. You can talk about the Mavericks, but they have their best player out the whole season so far, Kyrie Irving. Unless you want to say Anthony Davis is better, but I'm not here for that debate. This is not Locked On Mavs. Great podcast, by the way, with Nick and Isaac. You just definitely should go check it out and subscribe. But anyway, yeah, we're the most disappointing team in the league right now. I'm a Clipper fan, and I'm saying it. It's the truth. unfortunately. And the sad part is in this game, although actually, honestly, this is not a sad part. It's actually something that was very encouraging. Our offense looked good. And it really just comes down to sometimes guys like Kris Dunn and John Collins making their open threes. Kris Dunn has shot well this year for his standards, absolutely. John Collins, not as much. So going into this game, Kris Dunn was shooting 37% from three, which is great. Not even just for his standards, but that's just very good. John Collins, on the other hand, 31%. So we really needed him to make shots. In this game, he was 6 for 8 from the field and 4 for 6 from three. And I thought there were a lot of mismatches that he had that we just didn't even feed him the ball when he actually was calling for it. But I think there is maybe something in the air about giving John Collins too many dribbles, you know? He's just a much better play finisher, but I still think he can get the ball against certain smaller guys, if he's got deep enough post position in like the paint, you know what I'm saying? Or even like 12 feet away and closer. But I thought we got enough from John, especially on the offensive end. I thought defensively he could have been better, but I think we got to accept who John Collins is. He can make some plays at the rim defensively and low man help, but he's not going to be the best moving his feet with great guards. So that is going to be something that could be exploited when he's, we're switching 1 through 4. He isn't the smartest defender when it comes to communication and dealing with off-ball screens. That's something where, when you get to see him play every night, you can tell more of that. He doesn't make the best decisions on the floor defensively. But again, we have to take the good and the bad with John, and I think there's a lot of good there. We saw a little bit of that in this game. But let's talk about this most obvious thing. So, by the way, we got outscored 37-25 in the fourth to lose this one 35-118 in the end. Kawhi Leonard was on a minutes restriction again, capped at 28, and was taken out of the game with about 6 minutes left. I'm going to double check. But it was about 6 minutes left in the game, and he was not happy about it. He was trying to tell him to keep him in. It was, 4 minutes left in the game. 4 minutes and 7 seconds. We were down by 11. The game is definitely not out of reach. I didn't expect us to win at that point, but it was definitely not out of reach completely. And your best players coming out of the game, playing 28 minutes, scored 19 points, was 6 for 14 from the field, 1 for 5 from deep, had 5 rebounds and 3 dimes and 3 turnovers to go along with a steal, and he was a minus 14, which was tied for the worst on the team. He does not look like a star right now. And I get it. Second game back, minutes restriction. But again, we are at game 18. We're not even in the play-in right now. Do I think we'll be in the play-in when the season ends? Yes. Do I think we'll be in the top 6 when the season ends? Probably not. But I don't think that 5 or 6 are completely out. 4, 3, no way. Where will we be in the play-in? Where is most likely where I think we will fall? Who knows? Who knows? But it's game 18. And we're still talking about, minutes restrictions and stuff like that. It's not even about that it's game 18. It's year 6. Let's just talk about it. It's year 6 with Kawhi Leonard. Year 7, if you want to talk about 2022, where he was out the whole year. It's getting tiring. It's getting tiring. It's always minutes restriction. It's always, he's out. He just came back. We enjoy watching him play. Then he's out again. It's just frustrating on nights like this when, it's a game that you want to win. You're on national television. And your best player, or second best player, because I'll give James Harden his respect right now. I'll do it, is not a full participant in the game the way the other players are. You can't win like that, especially when the odds are already stacked against you. They didn't have DeAndre Ayton. We didn't have Derrick Jones Jr. and Bogey. And then, of course, we're already without Beal. It was advantage Lakers, and they're just playing better than us this season. Guys like Rui Hachimura, these guys are making shots. But the Kawhi thing, he needs to be more involved every possession when Harden's out of the game. Simple as that. He needs to be more involved in every single possession when James Harden is out of the basketball game. And I don't think he's cooked. I don't think he's washed. But there's also an identity thing going on with this team. Every time Kawhi comes back, we have the same conversation. Is it Harden's team? Is it Kawhi's team? We don't give the ball to Kawhi enough. He doesn't shoot enough. I don't know. I really don't know. And I'm tired of it. I'm really, as a fan, I'm just tired of it. But that's the story. It's Kawhi's, I mean, on a minutes restriction, you know, he's not making great decisions when he's doubled, or I'm fine with him shooting, even if they're tough shots, contested mid-ranges, because those are shots that he hits. Three ball wasn't really going for him. It is what it is. But the minutes restriction stuff, even he even said after the game that we got to build up more minutes because we're going to need some more if we're going to win. So this is definitely coming from upstairs, medical team or whatever. He definitely wants to play. That's obvious in his body language, which I don't think lies. But we lose it 135-118. What else can we talk about too? The defense. Look, in the first quarter, it's not ideal that we have Harden guarding Luka. But what makes it tough is LeBron, Austin Reaves, and Luka on the same team. You obviously are going to have Zoom matched up against the center. John Collins and Rui, it didn't have to be that way. You could have gone. I mean, how much better would John Collins have guarded Luka than Harden? I don't even think that much. The options aren't ideal. You need several point of attack defenders that are great to deal with them. Against them, it might be better to have Derrick Jones Jr. start over John Collins. And just thinking about that matchup in the future. But without them, I mean, it's an open season for Luka, and he started the game incredibly, but we played so well offensively that we were in there. So I didn't think it was bad defense as much in the first quarter as Luka's on a heater. But, we know our transition defense isn't going to be good. We're slow, we're old, but it's just I don't want to even single any individual out. I mean, we know Harden's not going to really play defense like that. We had Kobe Brown. We had Kobe Sanders. Kris Dunn just gambles too much this season. He's been gambling too much. But the collective effort defensively mixed with a very good offensive team in the Lakers with 3 elite shot creators and guys like Rui Hachimura, Marcus Smart that are in rhythm this season, Jake LaRavia playing good ball. It's going to be tough. Our defense is not great. I think in this game, though, a lot of it was just very difficult players to guard, that we're missing one of our main point of attack guys. It's going to be hard to guard. That simple. But anyway, coming up, going to be talking about Ivica Zubac and how disappointed I was with him in this game, the other guys, and then recapping our road trip. I got to tell you a little something about drip drop. When I'm hydrated, everything just works better. My focus, energy, mood, even my skin. That's why I've been using drip drop. It's doctor-developed hydration that keeps me running at full power no matter what my day looks like. Drip drop isn't your average sports drink. It delivers 3 times the electrolytes and half the sugar of leading brands using a science-backed formula trusted by medical professionals, firefighters, and over 90% of top college and pro teams. I like using Drip Drop as part of my daily routine. I'll mix a packet in the morning before the gym or during that midday slump that I have always around 3 to 5 o'clock. Right now, Drip Drop is offering podcast listeners 20% off your first order. Go to dripdrop.com and use promo code LOCKEDONNBA. That's dripdrop.com, promo code LOCKEDONNBA for 20% off. Stock up now before the heat hits hard and keep your body and mind performing at their best with Drip Drop. All right, Clipper Nation. We lose 135-118 in our first matchup against the Lakers this season at Staples Center. We dropped to 5-13 on the season after the fourth quarter. Was the Achilles heel in this one for the team? We lost it 25-37. I talked about Kawhi Leonard just now. 19 points is not going to get it done when you got LeBron James as their third leading scorer with 25. Austin Reaves had 14 in the fourth quarter. He had 31 on the game, and Luka at 43. And he had 13 assists to go along with that 43 and 9 rebounds. And they shot super efficiently. LeBron 9 for 15 and 2 for 5 from 3. Luka 14 for 28, 7 for 12 from 3. Austin Reaves 11 for 16 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3. For us, like our main guys, Kawhi 6 for 14 and 1 for 5 from 3. Harden 29 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 steals. So really good stat line there. But he had 5 turnovers, was 9 for 21, and was 3 for 12 from downtown. Did make all 8 of his free throws, though. Played 37 minutes, and we were only a -1 in his minutes. minus 16 without him. But they didn't shoot well, right? And then Zubac's 5 for 12, under 50%. So our big three did not shoot well, did not play that great, and their big three played well. Sometimes it just comes down to that because we got 2 for 3 from deep from Nico. We got 4 for 6 from deep from John Collins. We got 8 for 13 from the field and 3 for 6 from deep from Kris Dunn. 19 points, 3 assists and a steal for Kris Dunn. We got Kobe Brown. Kobe Brown in the first half was, he dunked on two guys, Maxi Kleber and I forget who else. Had a nice reverse layup, was making some great passes. He had 6 points and 2 assists on 3 for 4 shooting. He was having one of the best halves I've ever seen him have. Kobe Sanders, 6 points, 1 for 2 from the field, 0 for 1 from 3, and 4 for 4 from the foul line. He was a +4 in 17 minutes, but I thought he was just solid. That shot he made that I think was taken away when Harden threw him a grenade was crazy. But our bench actually outscored the Laker bench. We had, I'm not going to count the 1 point from Cam Christie in garbage time, but they scored 20 points off the bench. We scored 20 points off the bench, sorry. Clippers scored 20 points off the bench. Lakers had 15. So our bench outscored them. It was the starters. That was the big drastic disparity. But for me, we got stuff out of our role players. I want to talk about Zoo for a sec. We were talking about, Ayton's out. He's got to dominate Jackson Hayes. And he did not do anything like that. And Maxi Kleber, he had mismatches all night long, barely called for it. We didn't play through him enough. It's the same story all the time. It's the same story. And then he's not finishing around the rim, but I can't lie. I can't stand watching Austin Reaves, James Harden, and Luka get all these calls, and then Zoo gets nothing. He was 0 for 2 from the foul line. He had 10 and 10. 4 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. I will give him this. His rim protection was good, but his rebounding was terrible. And 10 points, bro. It's outrageous. I'm so tired of it. It's the same story. I sound like a broken record every time. He doesn't ask for the ball enough. He has mismatches and he won't post up and be assertive. We don't look for him enough. You can blame Harden. You can blame Ty Lue. I'm done with it. It's very frustrating. 10 points. Got outscored by John Collins and Kris Dunn. And then Harden, I thought he was excellent in the first half. Excellent. He was blowing by everyone not named Marcus Smart easily on a switch, whether it be LaRavia, Luka, LeBron, Rui. They could not guard him at all. At all. But he cooled down in that third quarter. He did. I mean, he led the way in the Lakers actually pushed the lead up to 10 points early in the third, but he made a 3 and had a couple more blow-bys to keep us in it. And Zoo had 2 paint buckets to cut it down to 1. We went on an 11-0 run in that stretch. And Kobe Brown, Kobe Sanders were doing some good things. But then we saw some really bad, towards the end of that third, Harden ISO possessions where nobody else touched the ball and it was just dribble, dribble, dribble. Either throw it to somebody at the end of the shot clock or take a contested step back. And for me, I think Harden's at his best when he's getting downhill. He had 12 three-point attempts out of his 21 shot attempts in this game. And that's too many threes in my opinion, especially when you're shooting 3 for 12. Now, some might say, well, they were loading up. Usually James Harden's pretty good about this, but I thought he was really bad in that second half with when he saw 2 guys and he saw the defense loading up, he did not get rid of the ball. I think our spacing could definitely have been better in those situations. For example, we're not making the pass easier for him. We're not attacking gaps when someone loads up off of us. Guys will have their man completely leave them to go help on James Harden, and they will just go completely where they cannot receive the ball unless it's a cross-court pass or some ridiculous pass that Harden would have to pull. There's one thing about spacing the floor, and there's another way to, actually take advantage of the fact that they're sending 2 guys on Harden. So the spacing is not good enough, but he wasn't releasing the ball even when the spacing was decent. He was taking too long, and that hurts us. 5 turnovers is not good. So, he had 29 and 9 and 5 boards, but I don't think it was a great James Harden game outside of the first half and the beginning of that third quarter. And the thing is, though, I blame him the least. Not in this game, just in general this season, because Kris Dunn and John Collins, I think, were better for their standards. But Harden, he's had to carry so much. When he went out of the game, we collapsed in that fourth quarter. And Zoo, it's just... Zoo's been disappointing. I know he's playing better of late, but still, disappointing. Derrick Jones Jr., who was actually one of our better players, is injured. Kris Dunn's been good. But he's offensively he's been good. Defensively, he hasn't been as good as last year because he's gambling constantly and he's getting burned, like stupid fouls, just reaching in and help. Even when he's guarding the ball, just silly reaches that he's getting penalized for. And then Brook Lopez, by the way, was taken out of the rotation in this game. We went with John Collins at the 5, and I loved what it did offensively. It actually didn't look that bad. And I wouldn't be surprised if we did more of it going forward because Brook Lopez has actually been that bad. But what do you think, Clipper Nation? With the Lakers having a shortage at the center position and we're playing Maxi Kleber, should we have played Brook Lopez? I think Ty Lue was very worried about him being attacked in space, which is a definite word. Like, it's a real concern and a valid one. So we went with Collins, who's a more mobile big, but he's just like undersized. So yeah, we'll see if we get more of Collins at the 5 going forward. I think we will. Is Brook Lopez permanently out of the rotation? I don't know, but that's part of the reason why we just haven't been as good as people thought and as I thought this season. I mean, I look like a clown right now, for sure. Put the red nose on me. Lopez has been disappointing. Chris Paul, who's looking a little better, has been disappointing. He had 4 points in this game, 1 board, 1 assist, no turnovers in 9 minutes only because he can't guard. He can't guard. Like Kevin Porter Jr. was better than him last season. Like Kevin Porter last season was better than Chris Paul this season. It's just a fact. And I'm not a I'm not a Kevin Porter Jr. guy, and I'm a huge Chris Paul guy. But, yeah, it just wasn't our game. But the rebounding, the effort defensively, it has to change. It has to change. You know, Kawhi after the game, I mean, I'm not as mad about Kawhi's comments after the game, but there's no urgency. And he's nonchalant. And then Ty Lue's talking about, we're going to be all right. Like, he's talking about how hard it is with Kawhi being on a minutes restriction. And it's this Bradley Beal out. And it's the same story every year. It's, because Kawhi's out. It's like, when your best player's out, it does this. It's like, ugh. Yeah, how do you think we feel? But anyway, one step closer to this era being over. That's all I can say. We still have a chance, though, to make the playoffs this season, Clipper Nation. I don't want to be all doomer, but it's like we're not going to win anything. So, like, I don't know. It's cool to make the playoffs. I love it. I don't take it for granted, but it's depressing what's going on right now, man. Can we at least get Kawhi off the minutes restriction and, have him be Kawhi again? That would be nice. 2-5 on the road trip. I mean, I said it was a hard road trip. That's why the beginning of the season, those first 10 games were so important, and we fumbled colossally. It's number 5 and 13. But now we're back at home for 3 games, and Memphis has been struggling. Dallas has been through a whole lot so far this season. Let's see if we can get some wins this weekend. We shot 52% from the field in this game, which was a welcome sight. 37% from 3, which was also a welcome sight. And one thing that's been consistent for us this season, we've been shooting well from the foul line. 21 for 24, 88% for us in this one from the free throw line. Lakers, 57% from the field, 45% from 3. They made the same amount as us, but higher percentage. And they shot well from the line, 85% from the free throw line, and they shot 2 more free throws, which wasn't that many more. Laker fans were trying to talk to me about free throw disparity being a reason why the game wasn't officiated one way or the other. Even if it wasn't officiated one way or the other, free throw disparity is just one category when it comes to what calls are made in a game. There's out of bounds. There's what kind of fouls they're calling. All that kind of stuff. The consistency or lack of it. But anyway, we just lost to the better team, unfortunately. As much as that pains me to say, it's the truth right now. We need our best player to be off minutes restriction. Is he even our best player anymore? Based on value, no. But when healthy and at their best, is he the best player on the team? Historically speaking, since we got Harden, still yes. I don't know. 135 to 118 to the final, Clipper Nation. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. This weekend's huge. We got to turn it around. We got to start with, if we can get 2 straight wins, that would be huge for momentum. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Dime Dropper Pod. So I attended the first ever regular season watch party inside Intuit Dome. That was a season ticket holder only event. And I took a vlog, got fans' thoughts about the season so far, about the game, about Chris Paul's retirement, about Harden's 55-point game. So check that video out. You can see what it looked like, the scene inside. It wasn't crazy. I prefer the outdoor watch parties. And by the way, there's free parking at the West Garage when we do those watch parties. So if you're in LA, pull up. So subscribe to my YouTube channel, Dime Dropper. And if you want to interact with me, I also am doing members only on my members only videos on Dime Dropper. I interact with fans. You can come join the live. You want to debate or you want to talk. But of course, Locked On Clippers. Most importantly, hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. Let's get to 8,000 subscribers before the end of 2025. And you can listen to this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. The #1 sports podcast network. Shout out to Locked On, all the podcasts, and the whole crew. The age-old proverb continues, go Clippers.